My name is Stephen Michael James. I've done a lot of different modalities so far in my life, and I love integrating them all into medicine that helps serve people get to their highest good.
I'm Candace. I've always felt the pull towards the metaphysicals and the energies of the people around me. Through my journey of self-love, I came to understand that I'm actually an empath and a healer by nature.
I'm a certified Reiki master, a spiritual Lifepath coach. I'm also a master crystal healer too.
Integrating my experiences as a support worker, a mother, a woman of color, and with my degree in behavioral sciences.
I was a hereditary practitioner. My grandmother was a wise woman.
I'm able to dig deeper into my spirituality with a variety of modalities that align with both Western ideals of healing and holistic principles.
I can't wait. I'm so excited.
I'm super excited and I'm ready.
I am ready, and we can't wait to meet you. Hello, everyone.
Good morning, Soul Circle. Good morning. It's been a crazy day. I'm surprised that I'm even alive. I'm Candace.
Stephen, and we are just so excited to come live with you for this amazing full strawberry moon in Capricorn. There is just so much energy going on in the field that all kinds of things are happening. I'm super excited, though, to be here with all of you. If this is your first time joining Arcana, I want to say a big welcome to you. Arcana's goal is to provide an inclusive community of like-minded individuals focused on self-development using holistic and metaphysical principles. We often spend a lot of time talking about the moon. We've talked about moon cycles. We've talked about how to perform moon work. We've done new moon. We've done full moon. And one of our favorite moon things to do is, of course, howl at the moon. So here we go. On the count of 3, let's release some of that energy. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Oh, that always feels good, doesn't it, Candace?
It does.
Every time. It just releases a little bit. It shakes it up in there. And that's one of the things that the full moon is for. The full moon is there for us to release and show gratitude for all the things that are provided in our life and things that may be ready to be let go. Maybe there are some things that are ready to be harvested. And that is what tonight is all about. Candace, what's your favorite part of the full moon?
Howling, duh.
Duh. Come on. It definitely is the best.
As an opportunity to just, it's almost like regenerating. It's like I release, I let go, and, look back and have some gratitude, but also just like, I don't know. I feel like the full moon is, there's a lot of like self-forgiveness that has to come with this and just accepting and letting go and moving forward. So it's quite good. And it's been interesting for me because I believe I have vertigo. So it's been a lot. The last couple of days have been pretty rough. Sit up. So I have taken some medicine and I have basically gathered all of the strength that I have in my body for my head, not to feel like it's across the room, and be here tonight because it's really important for me. And of course, I want to be here with all of you, and of course, you too, Stephen. So here we are. I'm harnessing that energy to make me a functioning woman.
Well, to me, you are always just the highest form of divine feminine possible, darling.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you so.
On this full moon, I lie, apparently.
On this full moon, I try not to throw up the saltine and water.
Well, I'm really glad that we got to do this.
Face.
I'm really glad that we get to do this. This is a monthly tradition for us to get together. It's a very, very casual night. What we have ahead of us, Soul Circle, is a night of talking about gratitude, talking about what we are releasing. I'm going to be playing a little bit of Sound Bowl. Candace is going to be talking about astrology. And then we are going to do our tarot pulls. So we have our awesome setup here tonight. We're going to be doing it based around different symbols that you may or may not feel drawn towards. So before we dive into astrology, I want to just let everyone know that if you are here, please say hello. Let us know that you are watching. Now, if you are here, take a quick moment and check out these 4 symbols. And I want you to choose which one feels the most called for you. I will be doing this periodically throughout the evening. So, those are your 4 symbols. We're also going to be anointing our candle together. And Candace, I believe we'll be talking about some of the herbs and flowers and oils that people can use. So I'm really excited for this tonight. It's going to be really a lot of fun. So why don't we dive on into some astrology?
Yeah, so tonight is the strawberry moon because, well, it's peak strawberry season and the farmers knew what they were talking about.
Yep.
So strawberries are really important to the diet of my soon-to-be 9-year-old daughters. So we are taking full advantage of this season. So first of all, before talk any further about this tonight specifically, I want to just show complete gratitude and thanks that Mercury in retrograde is over. I know some of us, we love a little retrograde. Yippee, let's learn about ourselves. That's fantastic. But honestly, I can only take so much at once. And this last round of retrograde for me was a goddamn whirlwind, and it came at me hard.
It really did, though. You got attacked, and attacked. So, yeah. It may also be eclipse season, right? It may have been the eclipses with the retrograde and this clash with Uranus and Saturn. I feel like there's a whole bunch of stuff that just zeroed in on you.
Yeah, no, the eclipse was like of the fun, finale. It was like the fun finale. And then it was just like a mess, and it was just me and the mess of that. And, not to take away from anything that I learned, but it was a lot. There were a lot of emotions, difficulties faced, things I couldn't fix, but had to simply be with it and look into myself, read my reactions and my behavior. I did some soul searching and work was done, which in the end obviously is always great because, and it makes sense because this full moon is Capricorn, and all that work brings the rewards, right?
It should. It does.
So I probably won't get a job in like as a tech person or anything, but I'm hoping that if anything, I've learned that I've gotten something in my reactiveness to these types of things.
Right.
Yeah. So again, talk about Capricorn. For all the seeds planted, Capricorn is about recognizing the fruits of your labor. Capricorns are some of the hardest working, lucky, boundary keeping, and structured people in the with that zodiac sign. Sometimes they can be workaholics, and they can really step up in power position. So lots of personal power, always seeing how high they can take the bar, like how much further they can take it, right? So with that in mind, right, it's time to ask yourself, are you meeting your goals? Maybe you aren't. Check that it's not just impatience, because if you are a fire sign like myself, or an Aries specifically, it might be that you're just being impatient. So check that first, and then ask yourself if these goals are aligned with your truest purpose or your desires. You might find that your goals that you were striving for no longer really make sense, and that's something that you want to check during this full moon energy in Capricorn. All right. The full moon brings many revelations about ourselves and our life and our intentions, or lack of intentions, or lack of action. Right. So the strawberry moon in Capricorn is in opposition. The sun is in opposition, is in Cancer. So it's time to look at and ask those hard questions about your goals in terms of workplace, career, and professional life. That's the Capricorn part. The Cancer part shines a light on those goals in relation to your home life and what you're literally bringing to the table. So this is a great opportunity to consider how you're managing work-life balance. Okay. This is also a pretty chill full moon in comparison to like specifically the last one. Yeah. So there's no big contrasting interactions with other planets. I mean, there are, but it's all kind of just like kind of works together. It's like, okay, it's a little more calm. There's no eclipses. There's no Mercury retrograde.
And
we love you, Gemini fam. I love you, but I'm ready to take it down a notch with some sun, with the sun in Cancer. Okay.
I already miss Gemini season. I already miss it. I miss the Gemini season again. Yes.
Yeah. Without eclipses and retrogrades, let's have a great time. But it was a lot. It's a lot with all of that. I'm ready to take a little dip and just a little rest, a little chill, right? The neighboring planet, Jupiter, is also in Pisces. So Jupiter is about like fortune and like expansion. And Pisces is like super romantic and magical and deeply emotional. So put them together and you've got like optimism and the desire to connect, which is great when you're thinking about work-life balance and achieving those goals and your connections and home life. So they're all kind of working together. So that's why I'm saying it's kind of like we can all just like take a sip of water and we're just gonna like just chill. We're gonna look at our home. We're gonna, you know what I mean? We're just gonna take it down a couple notches from last season.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. So quick overview of what you can take away from this Capricorn moon. Although it's time to do the work, step up to the plate with rules and structure, right? But it's also an opportunity to make sure you are in balance, aligned, and grounded. Okay. Think of it this way. Bringing it back to our strawberry moon. Think of it this way. You planted your strawberry bushes for this exact moment, the fruits of your labor, right? Now pick them, clean them, get them all ready, and then eat them. Enjoy every sweet, juicy bite and just take it all in. With Cancer in mind also, what good are those beautiful, ripe strawberries going to be if you are not present enough to enjoy them, right? So a happy, healthy heart and spirit is the best way to enjoy all the hard work that you've done and will continue to do. So those are my thoughts on a little bit of astrology right now and what's happening and how you can kind of work it all in to this strawberry Capricorn moon, right?
Yeah, I love that. That's awesome. You know, one of my favorite facts about the strawberry moon is that It's also called in Europe the rose moon. And the Algonquin named it strawberry because of the season, and it's a short season, and it reminds us of the sweetness of this small period of time, and reminds us of the cycles of sweetness is returning. The Europeans did the exact same thing for the same reason, but named it rose because of what is like indigenous in their area. So for me, that's so amazing that you take the same energy that could be felt around the world and you just call it culturally by what is located around you. I'm so into that.
Mm-hmm. I think some people actually also call it a honeymoon.
Yeah, there's the hot honeymoon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's actually, that's what I call Candace in high school. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, should have seen me at prom.
Yeah, she wants the honeymoon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bad joke? I don't know. I think it's pretty funny. All right. So if this is your first time joining us for a full moon, a big part of this is working on gratitude. And another part of it is working on release. So we're going to dive into our gratitude portion of this now. If you've never seen before, we have our awesome notebooks that we almost always write in for all of our moon work. Now, if you don't have a dedicated notebook that you use, don't worry, that's totally okay. You can just grab a piece of paper, even if you want, grab your cell phone. But I think there's something really nice about tangibly writing down things in your life that are important to you, things that resonate to you. And the act of writing them down really solidifies these things inside you. So if you're someone who practices regularly, this would be a good time to maybe start lighting some sage, some Palo Santo, get some things going if you like to work with Kapal or sweetgrass. There's so many different things. Let me get back in focus there. Almost? No? Hello. This is, I guess that Mercury is just holding on just a little bit longer for us.
Oh God. Please, we've learned our lessons.
It's all right. I actually don't mind Mercury because as a Gemini, it's my planet, right? So I feel bad for some of the other people who have it a little bit rougher during retrograde sometimes. Candace. Yeah. I literally saw you. I thought there was a few days where I was going to lose you altogether.
Yeah, I was done. I was definitely done. And another thing that I don't mind sharing is one of my goals was to spend some time focusing on my upper chakras.
Mm-hmm.
And after our summer solstice celebration, I got super dizzy, and then this vertigo thing started happening, and it's been a journey. Like, I'm trying to stay open to all of the messages and like what this means, and also just paying attention to like how I react to it all.
Yeah.
You know? So I don't miss the point of this, because it's all just a lot. Like, the last little while it's been a lot. Like, June could have been honestly 4 days. And it was mostly some strange version of hardship and learning. So.
And on that note, we're going to talk gratitude. So
we are.
What I'm going to encourage you guys to do is write down at the top of your page or wherever you're writing. It doesn't really quite matter. It's nice to have a little landmark of which full moon this was, or what the date was, where your thought process was, because as you look back through your book over the many months, you can really see development. You can see things that were important to you during certain cycles. And it's nice to see that work develop. So in my book, I'm going to write, this is the full strawberry moon, or the hot honeymoon, depending on, if you're into that.
Cool.
That girl just needs a hug, okay?
Oh, okay.
Just needs a hug. That's all. Okay. Full strawberry moon in Capricorn. All right. So now take a moment and start writing down some of the things that you are grateful for. And because this is a Capricorn full moon, I've chosen the bowl to use as our lowers, as our root chakra bowl here. Okay? So I'm just going to adjust my microphone a little bit because these bowls can be quite resonant. All right, so take a few minutes and really think about what's coming to you. What are you grateful for? All right?
Mm.
Just put on a little bit.
I wanted to say
Mhm.
that it's interesting for some of the things that were coming up for me when I'm writing out my gratitude list. Again, just based on how wild this last cycle was for me, it's almost like like the typical stuff is like I'm grateful for the things that really made me happy usually is on my list. And this time it's more of what I know now because of the shit that I had to deal with this last round, right? So like being able to see myself and the reactive parts of my personality, and in turn, if I can recognize it and I can see it, then I'm aware of it. I'm conscious of it when it comes up again. And I can then track it and see what the roots of those reactions are. Because not all of them, but some of them are maladaptive and like serve nothing, especially myself when I'm in those situations.
Right.
So if I can track where they come from, where they're rooted, then I have an easier way of addressing them and changing the behavior and hopefully replacing the behavior. So I feel like that is a lot of what's on my gratitude list. Another thing that was, so again, just having insight, getting insight.
Yeah.
It's great. I'm very grateful for that. Another thing that was really important for me this cycle that I just thought of it now was feeling supported, but also feeling supported while feeling seen. And I feel like there can be a lot of fear around that, particularly when you're in a new relationship, like myself. And, you know, a lot of times in the beginning of relationships, there's a performative portion of that. And myself and the person that I am seeing, we kind of both were like, no performative stuff, just leave it at the door. Like, know now what it's going to be like and who you are, full on, all of it. Like, just leave it at the door. And I stepped through the door and I left the performance behind me on the other side of it. I closed the door and have been extremely raw and very real. And I have been in the space where there's been reactive behavior that's come up. And although, again, there might be things that I want to change about that or evolve within myself regarding that, I was still seen. I was still very seen. I was still very supported. I still had someone who was very like aware and in the moment with me. And it wasn't that like he changed it or helped it. I was doing me, but there was someone that was there that saw it, and it didn't change the way that they felt about me. And that is huge. It's a huge fear that I've had, you know, someone that's gone through trauma that without disclosing for many years, and all the things that happened when that came up and was coming out. This is like a huge deal for me. So although this last little while has been hard, it's just like, oh, wow, okay. I'm really grateful that even when things are hard in life, I'm still safe, I'm still seen, and I'm still appreciated, and I'm still loved, and I'm still worthy. So that's what came up for me when we were writing our gratitude list.
That's just so amazing. When I think of all your journey, like if I could look back at some of our first full moon things together, I'm just really proud of you. I love that.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
And for the record, he's pretty cool.
He is pretty cool. Yeah. He is.
If you're watching tonight. Hello, sir.
Hello.
Oh, gratitude. Huh?
What's on your gratitude list?
So, I'm closing a cycle of my life right now. That was just I don't even know how to say it. It was an opportunity to be in a beautiful place for a long time. I mean, a long time. I've changed addresses for almost 9 months now. And I've gotten to try a very different type of life than I've ever really experienced before. And I'm just very, very, very grateful, beyond grateful, for some of the opportunities that it had afforded me, and for the opportunities that it will still afford me as we move forward out of this. I just really found myself turning to, there are people in your life who will surprise you, who will show up and leave such an impact on your life, even if they're not one of like the main players, you know, even if it's not a central character. Everyone has the opportunity to impact someone's life. And I find myself being very grateful for that, and sort of like looking around my life and taking inventory of, are there other people who I'm maybe taking for granted that they're providing something for me? And at the same time, looking at the other side of the coin of, are there people in my life that I could help provide for more and provide the other side of that? So I'm in this space of sort of giving and noticing where people give, because I'd say gratitude is kind of a comfortable place for me. I really appreciate so many different things in my life all the time, but I kind of go to the same things often. Like, I'll be grateful for the big picture things because I'm a Gemini. I need to see like fireworks going off. You know, sometimes I don't notice some smaller things. So I'm trying to be very cognizant of these smaller gifts that sort of push me along the way that really didn't have to come my way, you know? So anyways, that's sort of a long way of saying I'm just very grateful for some opportunities that have been granted me over the last little while. And even for this next 14-day cycle, in this whole releasing towards the next new moon, I'm going to work on sort of integrating that a little bit more. And like integrating smaller acts of kindness and things like that. I feel like that's in my work over the next little while. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. Okay. Thanks. All right. So, I'm sorry. I'm grateful for Candace.
And I'm grateful for you. Also, I wanted to say you asked for roots.
I did, didn't I?
You
Lots
did.
of roots. I am definitely rooted more so than ever before in my entire life.
Is it your fault that we were in quarantine then?
Single-handedly. It's all me. Faith Hope says hello to us this evening. Hello,
Aww,
darling.
hi.
Hi, welcome.
Hi.
Welcome to Arcana. So, all right, let's move on. We'll move forward from our grateful space now. Let's talk a little bit now about releasing. So, in releasing work, there's a few main elements that you can think of, because a lot of the times people can say, I want to release, and it's something that's very like a huge release. Like, I mean, all of us want to get rid of the parts of us that we feel are holding us back. That's normal. That's human nature. But sometimes you have to look at what that release will mean. Because a lot of the times when you release something, it means that it's going to come with other parts of your life harvesting away that were maybe in line with the things you're trying to release. So I thought I would take a few minutes and just talk about sort of the different directions and how they work with releasing, to sort of give everyone a little bit of idea of how, when Candace and I do work one-on-one with you guys, the sort of things that we do with you. So our practice really stems from two different theologies. One is the medicine wheel. We mostly use the Lakota medicine wheel. And the other one is ancient Celtic tradition. And these two things often go back and forth for us. So let's talk about the medicine wheel. So let's start in the East. East is any medicine that's going to help you release when it comes to a new beginning. If you're looking to start a new phase of your life, if you're looking for change, if you need swift, fast, just picture a tornado, just blow it free. If this is the type of energy that you need, then working with Eastern elements, working with air, getting fresh perspective, fresh clarity, these are all things that come from Eastern medicine. Next, we turn to the South, and South is all of transformation. Fire burns clean. So a lot of the time I like to think, instead of just transformation, think of transmutation. So if you have a part inside of you that you think serves you, that is like, you like parts of it, but maybe it's negative, impacting either you or someone in your life, then transmuting that energy is really good in the South. Another thing that it helps you with is energy. If you're someone who needs motivation, or if you need help with any type of creation or anything that's maybe sexually based, a lot of that lives down in the South as well. So you can work with that energy over there. Let's talk about the West, which is where water is. Now, water is the most healing of all the directions. A lot of the times, if you find yourself emotionally, just crying, if you're in turmoil, if you're trying to release something that is heavy emotionally for you, if this is something that just you can't get past, the water, the direction of west can help wash this away. It can help clean some of this away. And if you imagine murky waters always end up washing themselves cleaner as they get up higher. right? The water that's at the bottom is often the ones where there's a lot of like Scorpio energy down there. Hey, Scorpios, shout out. But water flows. Water is just going to keep on flowing. It's always an ever moving force that's going to help you. Even if you're in meditation, picturing water is something that is great for you. Okay, and lastly, the north. The north is really good. Oh, excuse me, sorry, one more thing on the west. West is where prosperity lives. So if you're working with anything that has to do with money, or you're working with something that has to do with that, like prosperity in general, if you want an abundance of something, the west really helps with that. Okay, now we move to the north, and north is your earthen direction. Now, north is often referred to as the slowest moving of the energies, and that is actually its greatest asset. It is where knowledge lives. It's where wisdom lives. If you need stillness, if you need calmness, if you need messages or guides, or you're just like, I just need a sign, if you're in that state of your life, a lot of the times the north can really help, because they say in a lot of indigenous cultures, this is where your spirit guides live. And then in a lot of like druid culture, this is where like the old oak trees and then walking through nature and go on these quests, all of that takes place. Okay, so there's a lot of different ways that we can heal. There's a lot of different ways that we can release. Sometimes on full moons, it's very common. Let's say you're like writing a letter of what you're trying to release. You can wash it downstream in the water. You can burn it in fire. You can bury it in the earth. So these are all different things that you can do that are actual physical attachments to some of these directions. And over the course of the year, we're going to be doing a little bit more of this with different elements and stuff. I know we've done honey jar work this year. We've done some burning stuff this year. We've done candle carving and sigils. So there's a lot of different ways that you can do this. So as we start talking about release here, Candace, is there anything else you'd like to add to this?
No, I think that was a good cover. I think next week, or well, I guess I don't know if we're starting it tomorrow, but we're going to be talking about the elements in our morning sessions, which are really great. It's important when you're opening circle, closing circle. I think it's a really great way to zone into what you want. It's really important also to understand these elements if you want to understand your tarot reading on a deeper level.
Yes.
So it's a really great base if you're starting out and just wanting to like learning about these practices for the first time. If you're new to it, starting with the elements and understanding the elements are a great way to feel connected, not just to the tools that you could be using, but to the universe, and understanding that as you are connected to the universe is connected to you also. And this is a great way to harness in on that, even if you have very specific goals beyond just understanding these practices in a general sense. If you have something very specific, you can really zone in with this knowledge. So yeah, it's great for manifesting. It's a great way to dive into that. So
I love it. All right, so let's take a minute now and we'll get back to our journals. Take a moment and write down some things that you're looking to release this year. Remember, you don't have to share this with anyone but yourself. So we encourage you to work with whatever honesty is going to be in alignment with your highest good. Now, of course, Candace and I will be sharing because we always like putting ourselves in the hot seat for you.
Well, I only share what I want everybody to know.
Now, for that, because we're talking about releasing, I chose to work with our heart bowl tonight. All right? Enjoy, my friends. Enjoy your elements of release.
when looking at what you're writing and how you're writing it, I think it's important to remember it can come out in a lot of different ways. Words, just single words, sentences. Maybe it looks more like a diary entry and it's just kind of like an experience. Maybe you're disclosing in your journal. I don't know, but it could look many different ways. And again, this is a personal expression, so there is no rules or restrictions on how you want to place it in your book or your paper or whatever you're working with. So I think that's good to keep in mind.
Yeah, I love that, because every time we do this, it always sort of appears differently. And I always sort of think it's super organic. It's super organic as we do it. And yet, like, for example, this is a Capricorn new moon. And I think for the first time ever, since we've been doing this, I actually made like a list with numbers. Like number 1, this, number 2, totally unintentional. And I'm just looking at the irony of it now. Which is, it's funny how that stuff kind of happens. But all right, so Candice, what would you like to share about what you're releasing? You don't have to dive into it. I was joking, but what would you like to share on this?
I think what I'm releasing kind of goes with the stuff that I've learned this last session of life. This last cycle of life. I am releasing judgment. I am releasing stagnant energy. I am releasing the things that I can't control and my desire to control them or obsessively think about them or judge myself for not having control of that or whatever it is. All of those things around that. I'm releasing it. Because sometimes it's just not going to work out that way. Yeah. And I got to accept that that is not a failure, but rather I'm being redirected. And to take what I can learn from my reactions and behavior in that moment and let it redirect me to be in a new behavior, a new reaction, a new thought process, or a whole new place and time or tool or whatever it may be. And I want to be open to that. So I need to release the need to control. I'm also releasing the need to let others take over my my space in this world. I have to be able to live my experiences in this world, and I have to be able to walk my path, and I have to be able to make choices that might come to bite me in the butt later or might not, or whatever lessons I get from it, they're mine. Yeah. And I can't do anything that someone else wants me to do if it's not speaking to me as what I, Candice, feel that I need to do. And I think it comes down to, again, I'm releasing the, it's not even like I want to do this, but I am going to be conscious of this and I'm going to let this go and not, again, judge myself or feel guilty. But I am not going to make myself smaller so that someone else can fulfill their need to feel seen or feel important or feel bigger or whatever it is that they need. That's what they need. And it is not my job to make myself smaller or silence myself in order to be a supportive person for somebody else or make someone else happy or make someone else satisfied. So I'm going to release that and I'm going to let it go and I'm going to take up my space big, loud, and proud. And what may come will come. And if someone doesn't like it, then they will come to accept, and they will maybe learn something also, or I don't know, not talk to me anymore. I have no idea. So I can only do what I can do, right?
Yeah.
So what is on your gratitude? Sorry, not your gratitude. What are you releasing? What are you releasing?
I'm going to tell a little story. So, Gemini story time. When I
Tick, tick, tick. It's getting late. Make it speedy, okay?
okay, so something I was never quite good at. I never really was good at growing things. And with Candace's help, I started being able to grow things. And at first I saw it as something that I was not good at, and I decided I had to get good at something I wasn't good at, because that's like my Leo moon. I can't be bad at something, I must learn how to do it. So, as I look back at this year, I think of this one so in moving to this place, there is a lot of greenery here. And I mean a lot. Indoor, outdoor, there's a lot here. And I have to think of this one tree that is here. And this tree is very, let's call it a fancy tree. It is the fanciest of trees. And without really knowing anything besides, like water every once in a while, I had no idea what I was doing. And I remember watching this thing just die in front of me. It just kept dying. Just dying in front of my eyes. All the leaves fell off, all the flowers fell off, the bark started changing color, and I was like, well, there goes that fancy tree. And what I learned 2 months later is that while I was so worried that I was going to have to tell my friends who own this tree that I killed their prized possession of greenery, that I had nothing to worry about, because things come in cycles. And things have to go through a dormancy phase. And without that dormancy phase, they do not grow. And it is an important part of life. And that was one of my greatest teachers of the entire last, I'd say, 2 years. And so for this full moon, I am releasing my expectation on time. I am releasing that there are some things that I might think I can rush, and I might learn a lot along the way, but I can also just release the expectation that I put on myself and on whatever it is I'm talking about, and just go along for the ride a little bit more. And that is my long-winded story for what I'm releasing. But a good story, right?
Yes. Yes. Wasn't that long. It was fine.
I mean,
I will accept it.
Longer of stories that were about far less genuine things.
Like my high school nickname.
How many times have you heard me use that one now?
It won't be the last either. I think that's a great thing. I keep seeing this. So maybe that's why it resonates with me. Oh, you went really fuzzy. Now you're really close.
It'll work itself out.
But yeah, I think that time frames, time periods, I think it's really, really good. And I think maybe it's because of the age I'm at right now, but I feel like that's a really important thing. I know that it was something that I had to come to grips with a while ago, with expectations of, in society, we have these expectations on people that you're supposed to reach these certain milestones at certain ages, and you should have this by this time, and your life should look like this way, and it should be like that. And never did that with my life. And so when I had the opportunity to kind of live that out and realize that it wasn't working and that I had to let it go, it was really, really hard. It's not easy releasing and accepting the cycles of life, but not just the cycles of life, the cycles of your life.
Yeah.
And what is specific to you, because it might not be specific to the person beside me or that person. Everybody's going through something different. And it's important to remember that. And yeah, I think that's really good. And I think it kind of correlates, and I can also use that in my own release with the idea of taking up space. And I hope that everyone will take up the space that they need and how they need it.
Yeah.
And I have to remember to do the same. And yeah, I think that's really good. So cycles and taking up space.
I like it. I think this is some good. I think it sounds like a really healthy 14 days for us to focus on that. It also sounds like life work, not just 14 days.
Yeah, I think it's life work. The signs and everything have just been coming down for these things. I've had more tangible, very specific things. And I realized that because I want those tangible things, there was still some stuff that I needed to work through before I can have that. So I'm definitely grateful for these lessons, right? Yeah. So maybe in 14 days from now, I'll have the tangible thing. Who knows?
You never know. In 14 days, we'll be wishing for tangible stuff too. So that'll be fun. Stay tuned for 2 weeks from now when we do our new moon.
That's right.
New moon in Cancer, baby. Oh boy. All right.
Yeah.
So now it's time for some guidance. Are we ready?
Ready.
All right. So.
Oh, wait, Steve, before we jump into that, sorry.
That's okay.
Do we want to tell everyone about some of the tools that they're working with tonight?
Oh, yeah, sure. Why don't you dive into that?
Okay. Just before we go into this, because I really love ending the night with this. And also, we carving into the candle tonight?
Yes, we are, darling.
Okay. So everybody, in your journal or in your candle, if you'd like to carve the symbol of Capricorn, here this way? There we go. There she is. So Stephen's going to get that into our candle. I think you can all see that. It's like a fancy N with a swoopity boop at the end of the bottom.
A swoopity boop. This is the technical.
Swoopity boop. That was my other nickname, swoopity boop.
So it's really hard to get these to translate on film, but Candace
yeah.
and I have been drawing on this candle all year.
Oh, yeah.
All the different astrological signs for every moon. This is just a moon candle. We only light this on the new moon and the full moon.
Yeah.
So it's pretty special.
It's beautiful.
Oh, man, it smells good. Let me tell you, this is a good candle to be burning. All right, I want to say a little shout out to Jason Fuller. Hello, sir. Welcome.
Hi, Jason.
All right. So now
I just want to show you, Stephen, that I'm burning one of the first moon candles we ever got many, many years ago.
Oh my gosh, that candle.
I found her in my cupboard, in my witch's cupboard. And I'm like, I'm going to bring it out. I'm going to bring her out. So.
Oh, that's an old candle. That is old.
This is like really old. So I brought her out. I'm also burning some other magical candles here, and I can't lift it up because it is literally a pile of wax.
It's just a big wax right there. I love it. So, Candace, why don't you tell us a little bit more about the different correspondences that you can use for your candle?
Yeah, so you can use, I have some rosemary here, fresh from my garden. Oh,
I know.
That smells really good.
So good.
I have some of that. Chamomile is a good one as well that you can use now. I have the essential oil bergamot here. I also have some lemon here. Those are all great ones. As far as stones, for me tonight, I'm focusing on black tourmaline. So this one is great for just purification, cleansing away the negative feelings, thoughts, and like bad vibes in general. I actually keep this hidden in my doorway so that no one can bring that shit into my home. Keep that shit out. Garnet is a good one. Do you have a garnet there, Steve?
I do have a garnet here. It's in the middle of my grid, and you'll see it when I change cameras. I just don't want to knock that over right now.
Beautiful,
And
beautiful.
a peridot in here too.
Peridot, yeah.
I do have a peridot there too. Yes, I see it. So
amazing. And if you don't have any crystals to work with tonight, you know what? Maybe you have some strawberries.
right?
Eat it. Eat some strawberries, drink some water, have a bath, look outside the moon. You don't need any tools, baby. You are the magic.
You are the magic.
I sleep with black tourmaline under my pillow. Oh, wow. Okay. That you're really keeping away the bad vibes. They're not coming for you.
Yeah, you haven't had a nightmare since the 80s, baby.
Right?
Yeah, that's awesome. That's so good. And you know what? I think knowing your boundary and knowing what's healthy for you, that's great to understand your body that well. I love that. Well, so shall we jump into some of our messages now?
Let's jump into it.
Bam. All right, everyone. So on our table for today, I'm just going to move my moon water here, which I can't wait to be creating a lot more moon water tonight. Maybe we'll have a quick little chit chat about that after, because it will be shot time. All right. So again, I'll show you our symbols, and I'm going to encourage you guys to pick the symbol that resonates the best with you. So this is symbol number 1. Right? Symbol number 2. Yeah, symbol number 3. And symbol number 4. All right, so choose the symbol that resonates the most with you. Underneath it, I have some tarot cards. What I'm going to be pulling for is an obstacle in your way right now and a possible outcome based on your energy that you're using within your field currently. All right, now, each of these pillars is clear quartz, and clear quartz generators are really great for the center of grids because it's used to call down energy that is right in between, right around you, right surrounding it, and it focuses it right on in. All right, so I'm going to start with anyone who chose number 1. All right, this is our number 1. Now, this is the symbol of transformation. These symbols are called the Angel FOs, and my teacher spent a lot of time with these in working with them and bringing them forward. Now, this Angel FOs, because transformation, you can see there's a large heart in there. A lot of transformation has to start from your heart space and from your heart energy. So if this was the one that you're most drawn to, you're looking to transform, think of this like the anchor, all right? In order to transform, you have to have roots, and it usually has to start with something within your heart space. So card number 1, oh my, this is your obstacle. We have the Tower. Now let me tell you, if there's ever an obstacle in the deck, your Tower is probably it. Now,
if there was ever a card for transformation.
Exactly, right? So whenever I see this card, I always hear the same saying, and that is a calm sea, never made a brave sailor. All right? So in order to become a good sailor, you need to work those heavy, strong waves that are coming at you. Now, this is based in the obstacle position, which for me in a reading would suggest that maybe some of you are struggling with transformation because something that has come up for you specifically before this, and you're having trouble getting past something. So this card would beg you to look deep inside yourself. What are you having trouble overlooking? What should you be releasing this full moon? What are you just like, you don't have to carry it anymore, right? You don't have to anymore. It's time to move past that. So then, outcome. So the Hanged Man. I also love this artwork of the Hanged Man. Now, the Hanged Man also is a card that sort of has a connotation to be a bad card. And you know what? I love the Hanged Man.
I love the Hangman. What a great card.
I love it. Hanged Man, it is time to surrender. It is time to let life happen. That is how you get past that obstacle. Relax. It is time to move on. Why are you still carrying that pain on you? Why are you still telling the same stories that you still tell? Tonight, we empower you to move forward. All right? And just let natural cycles take their place. Just be like her. You just swing. Grab those ankles and swing, girl.
You can see the glow around the crown. And in the Rider-Waite original deck, he has like the halo. So it's just like you're going to be okay. Like it's in a greater purpose.
Yeah, you are divinely connected. You are a part of that cycle. Just let it happen. Yeah. What a good reading for transformation. That's good.
Fantastic.
Right, bam.
Okay.
This was symbol number 2.
So this is number 2. This is your card.
All right. So number 2, this card is about balance. All right. This is actually one of the Angel FO symbols for as above, so below. And you can really see that in the depiction of the symbol. There we go. Trying to get it nice and focused. This is about balance. Okay. So where in your life are we seeking balance? Okay. So obstacle. Woo! You got, look at that sexy man there, but this is the devil card. All right. Right? Some good devil.
Sliding down a stripper pole straight to hell.
Shout out to Little Nas X, call me. So the devil card as an obstacle, it usually means that somewhere along the way you are standing in your own way. Usually means that there are parts within yourself that are holding you back. And anyone can go out on a line and we can say what those things are. And a lot of the times when you read some of the deck books that come along with it, they suggest really deep, heavy things like addiction and trauma and like heavy stuff. But you know what? Sometimes it's not about that. It can just be small methods of thinking that are within your brain that are just holding you back from what you are actually supposed to be doing. And under obstacle, this card would actually suggest that it is time for you to release that. It's time to maybe open your mind a little bit more, or put down one of your habits that is standing in your way of trying to succeed, of trying to get there. Right? Some good devil, right? Just have to say that. Okay, yes, I overindulge sometimes. Exactly. That's exactly what this card is for so many different people, right? But also, just like, check it out. Call me. Right? God, okay. All right, and your outcome card of that. Isn't this interesting? So this is the Knight of Swords. The thing about the Knight of Swords is this is a really fast-paced, ambitious, running in the direction of your dreams card. So this would suggest if you are willing to put down whatever habits are holding you in your way, there's nothing holding you back from running directly towards what it is you want. All right, so this would be like, even just look at that bird. He's chasing the dream, and right in front of him, if he gets there far enough, there's a motorcycle. He's going to drive even faster. So you just got to get started. But you'll notice he runs before he gets on that motorcycle, right? You have to do the work yourself before you get an easy ride. All right?
Yeah.
Whew.
Beautiful.
That's a lot. Those two cards together. I'm liking it, though. That's why we're here. Let's release some stuff, you know? All right. Number 3. Bam. Now, this is one that Candace, you know this because you're a part of Arcana. We don't often use this Angel Fos that much because a lot of the energies that have been in a lot of these full moons don't really align with this too much. Now, this one is awareness. Right? So this...
Can you show me the symbol one more time, Steve?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, there you go. Perfect.
Okay, so it's awareness for this one. And what I love about this stone is, this symbol, excuse me, is that the line down the center shows your connection through your entire body. It's supposed to be your Shisuna. And then you have your upper chakras, your 3, your lower chakras for your bottom, and then you have that circle in the middle, which is your heart space. So this represents awareness of all kinds because it's encompassing so many different parts of your body. So let's see, for those of you who chose awareness, what came up for you? So we got the 7 of Swords. For those of you out there who are like big tarot people, you know what the nickname of this card is. This is the Thief card. This is the mischievous card. This is, often if this comes up in a card reading, I like to like really cut to the shit. Like, what are you doing that you're not telling anyone about that could be hurting someone? Like sometimes this card is kind of like that like hairy eyeball comment of like, what are you doing? Like something's going on. Like, what are you doing? What aren't you telling someone? What's your secret? What are you thieving? Sometimes there's a famous story about I can't remember his name right now, but like a rich billionaire. He went and he had a tarot reading and he got it done at a party, and this came up, and he was embezzling money from all the people in the room. It's like this really cool like tarot story, which I love. So often if this comes up under awareness, I would say that right now the sun is going on and you know exactly what it is, and you are not self-aware enough of either what the consequences are or that other people know what's going on. So I'd say that this card is like, whatever this is, if you just heard this and something came up for you, it's time to release that on this full moon. This serves no one. This card serves no one. Okay, so this card is only going to serve you if you make a change. All right, so let's see what happens if you make that change. Well, if you're nervous of making whatever change I just said, I want you to know the outcome is the Chariot.
Oh.
Girl, you good. So the Chariot is a lot about recognition. The Chariot is a lot about the vehicle of movement. The Chariot is a lot about, especially in this instance, this is a very positive card to go along with your, if you are getting rid of this thief over here and your outcome is going to be the Chariot. This is basically like saying like you would be a fool if you didn't make a change and you chose that other thing over this thing, right? The Chariot is all about like forward progressive movement, and they always use the image of like the Caesar striving into Rome with all of his accolades being cheers to him from all of the adoring fans. This is your Chariot, all right? It's also good to notice that also with the sign that we had with your awareness sign and the above and the bottom and all the different sides of you, there's one white horse and there's one dark horse. So usually the Chariot also talks about the coming together, the assimilation, the integration of all the things that you are. All right, and that's what leads to this type of notoriety, let's call it. Okay? Very cool. Bam. And our fourth card for tonight. This is our symbol. Now this symbol is one of my favorite. And this symbol comes up almost always at the end of the year, because this is integration, which is the symbol of harvest season, which will be coming up very shortly. So we're looking at this symbol, and this is integration. What things do you need to integrate in your life? Integration. Woo, okay. So we pulled the Five of Wands. And the Five of Wands is known to be infighting. It is about like conflict that is taking place within your space, within. It's not like conflict over there. It's like conflict in here. And usually this has to do with I don't want to say ego, but it has to do with feeling that you are right and the other person thinks they are right and everyone thinks they're right and there has to be a winner, like this kind of thing. The Five of Wands asks you to step back, like take a breath and look at the whole situation. Often this card, if I was being blunt, it's basically like it's not about you. It's not about you. Stuff is happening. And you're just one of those people who's just fighting and flailing. Like, even look at them. None of them are even, like, facing each other. They're all just, like, flailing and hurting one another for no point. Right? So, and that goes across most decks. It's very common. So, if this is in your obstacle, if this is where you're at right now, I would take stock. Look at your relationships. Look at your job. Even internally, you could be having a struggle that looks or feels like this. Let's jump on in. Ooh, your outcome. Just love this card too. So this is a Hermit. We got the Hermit. And the Hermit is actually like one of the most misunderstood cards of the deck. I think we pulled the Hermit for another one of our full moons recently, didn't we, Candace?
I feel like we might have.
Yeah, I feel like I just recently told this story, but I'm going to tell it again. So the Hermit, if you imagine a village and at the edge of the village you hear a sound in the trees and there is a monster or there's an unknown, let's call it, in the trees, and everyone in the village is standing at the edge peering into the darkness. The Hermit is the person who walks forward and looks back at the village and says, "I'll go first. Let me go." And the Hermit has enough faith to walk that lonely road on their own before they are illuminated into the path that gets them to look like this guy right there, just dreaming up there in the sky. So basically, the Hermit is one of the strongest cards in the deck because they don't need anything outside. Right? They just need what they have inside of themselves. Usually the Hermit is depicted just with like the light of one torch walking in, or there's usually like a torch or a flame somewhere in there. And that's usually like your inner conviction, right? It's what you need. It's what you got. So I would say if you're in this, if this is integration, basically if we're looking at this like infighting and this like situation where things feel like that, the Hermit to me would be like take the high road. It would be like take the path of I don't want to say least resistance because that's probably not what it may feel like, but I would say take the path that even if you have to walk it alone, you know it's in the direction that is right for you. It's the direction that is right for you. So,
the road less traveled.
Right? I love it. I love the Hermit cards. I always wish that the Hermit was my life path number. I love it. And there you have it, folks. We have all four of our Angel FOs on the table here. We went through the different... Oh, thank you, Jason. We have all different kinds of messages. Now, Candace, I'm going to put you in the hot seat. Which one did you choose?
I had chosen integration.
Nice. I love integration. Very cool. And did any of that, you don't have to go into detail, of course, because I don't believe in that, but did it was there parts of that resounded?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say so. I would say 100%.
I like it.
And I'll leave it at that.
I leave it at that. All right.
What about you? Did you have one chosen?
I did, and I was transformation again. You know, this is just like my girl. I'm just down with transformation. And yeah, The Hanged Man, I feel like, is I should get tattooed on myself this year. I feel like that is just an energy, like even talking about releasing time earlier, and now we're talking about like releasing to the process and letting these things happen. Like I keep coming back to this sort of energy right now. So I guess this is just the work I'm doing. All right, let's come on back here, friends. We've done sound bowls, we've released, we've talked gratitude, and we got messages. So I'd say we've had a pretty awesome night for this full moon. Wouldn't you say, Candace?
Absolutely. I think it's been a great night. I think it's a perfect time to wrap it up. I can feel the meds slowly starting to fade, and you becoming too.
You're gonna get super vertigo-y any moment now.
Yeah.
So, what I'm gonna encourage you to do is if you have the herbs that we were working with this full moon, take them, huff them
Right.
like Candace. You want to take them and either put them in your book. I like to put them like right directly. You'll notice that some of our books have messes like that on it. But yeah, you want
My
to
book sheds.
Yeah.
My book sheds wax and little dry leaves.
Every time we open it, in fact.
Right.
As it should be. And then also I'm going to anoint our candle with that, and I'm going to keep that burning as long as I'm awake tonight as I'm doing the work. Usually after this, I like to just open the door, spend a little bit of time outside. Gorgeous. And then if you can, feel free to seal that up with some candle wax or whatever you are currently working with. Whew. Hot wax. Hot wax. There we go. And just like that, our full strawberry moon in Capricorn is finished.
It is. Blessed be, my friend.
Blessed be. So we will be live in 2 weeks' time for our new moon in Cancer. If you are down to join us for that, please feel free. We are going to be setting our intentions. On the new moon, you always want to set your intentions, and on the full moon, you want to release them. So between now and that new moon, the best things you can do is integrate any messages that came through, do any healing work that needs to take place, start slowing down a little bit. The next 14 days aren't time to start a new project. It's not time to invest in that big house. It's not that kind of time right now. The next 14 days are about integration, gratitude, and healing. All right, and then the other thing that we want to let you know is, Candace let us know earlier, next week we're going to be focusing on the elements. So we're going to be diving into the 4 cardinal directions, a little bit like we talked about at the beginning of today, but we'll be doing all kinds of different stuff with them next week. So we go live every morning on Facebook just after 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you're available, come join us. Again, if you don't have us on Facebook, please find us. We are Arcana, Mind, Body, Spirit. We have our website, we have our Instagram, we have our YouTube, and we have our Facebook. You can't go anywhere on the internet without finding us, my friend. All right. Tomorrow morning, we are going to be doing a nice little sound bath, a nice way to begin this full moon corridor for the next 14 days. Just a little bit of sound energy. So please join us if you're available. All right. Anything you'd like to finish with there, Candace?
I think you've said it all. I'm just happy to be here, and I'm happy to have all of you here as well.
I love that too. All right. Namaste, Soul Circle.
Namaste. Much love.